We've been on a series lately on storytelling and photography, where we talk about how a photographer should come across from his own end and how you tell stories. We started by defining what storytelling is, that as a storyteller, you don't only tell stories by showing people what you see. You tell good stories how when you start letting people gain access to what you felt, how you saw what you saw, what made you reproduce that image, how your state of heart was. So storytelling now went beyond just photographing or doing your video to be able to give us access to the heart of the person that you were telling. And today we'll be talking about basic ethics every photographer should know, most especially a storytelling photographer, event photographer should know or should imbibe while doing storytelling. First on my list, I have every photographer should know how to respect boundaries. Very important. You need to know that because you're a photographer and you have access to roaming around doesn't mean you should go around taking people's portraits without their consent. You need to get consent. You need to know boundaries. There are places where you go as a professional photographer or as an official photographer, someone in high place. As you begin to do photography and tell the stories of that person, you need to know there are places where it's off limit for photographers, and there are things you need to know when not to do them. Taking portraits of people without their consent, there are people that really find it very offensive. I've had my own share of doing that. I've had people meet me after taking them pictures like, please delete that picture. I'm like, oh, sorry, I deleted it, and then they had to check, say, please don't do that again, ask permission the next time you want to take it. I understand the fact that you want to take candid pictures unawares, you just take the candid pictures, but people need to know, most especially when it is a close-up picture of them, they need to give you permission. Second on my list is you should avoid being intrusive and barging into people's space. You need to learn how to not be a distraction. You are covering a service, you're covering a conference, you're covering an event. You need to learn not to be a distraction. A lot of photographers feel because we have an exclusive access to moving around, you just want to keep going around. You need to learn when to move, when not to move, and the likes of them. You need to learn how to shoot, especially DSLR shooters, where you just carry your camera. I've been a DSLR shooter too, come on, so I'm with you. I'm your brother in struggle. But then you don't just go ahead and shoot and put your camera on silent, mute the sound, and in the midst of people having a very intensive conversation and they're hearing bash. No, you need to set your camera, put it, remove all the sounds, and then major, like this particular I want to talk about now is my major of I don't like people doing that. You are in a conference hall that is properly lighted, the lighting is good, and you want to use flash. It's very distracting. I found out that I've been a conference photographer in the last 7 years. I've shot in conferences around Nigeria, and one of the things that have majorly been an off for me is when I see fellow photographers shooting with flash in a conference or in a church service. Your church is properly lighted. I understand if there is no good lighting and there is, but you need to learn how to minimize being a distraction. Imagine someone being intense in a service, maybe listening to the preacher or listening to the speaker, and you just come and then the next thing is like, it can be very distracting. Mostly when you see people that use speed light, some of them want to tilt the light towards the subject, and you don't even get a good lighting by tilting your light towards the subject. You get, at best you can tilt it towards if you don't have a high roof, that it will bounce and come back. But when you're facing it on it's for God's sake, photographers, let's learn. Next on my list is your dress sense. Photographers, I can't overemphasize this. I can't even exhaust talking about dress sense. Photographers need to learn. You need to learn. I started following Tolani Ali and my life changed. I was following one of her sessions she had, and then it was church and the church creative, something that hosted her some 2 years ago. It was early last year or some 2 years ago. And then she was talking about dressing. That stuff made it made a whole new beginning. It made a whole new sense to me. That was when I stopped shooting with jeans and t-shirts. It's not bad totally. I understand you want to shoot on jeans and t-shirt. When I go to my local church, I would love to shoot on jeans and t-shirt because there are dress codes for the media team when we shoot conferences at the rest. But then you want to learn to dress nice. Even if you're on your jean and t-shirt, there's how you can style it that it will make you look presentable. You don't just come because you're a media guy, you're wearing palm sandal and you're dressing shabbily, your hair is not combed, you're just looking all rough and unkept. You are going to be in people's faces. Dressed well. I had to go get some kind of particular dressings after listening to Tolani Ali speak about dress sense. You need to work on your sense. Man, photographers, you cannot be in people's face and you have body odor. You cannot be in people's face and you're trying to pick a shot and then your armpit is oozing. Only God knows what kind of smell. Man, we can do better. So get yourself good dress. Get yourself to smell nice. You need to smell nice. Upon listening to Tolani Ali, I went and got a kind of perfume and it changed my whole thought pattern. I started going to places. I'm like, oh, guy, you're smelling nice. I love to hear that. I'm a psychological being. I love to hear people give compliments. Good. Aside compliments, you're in people's face. Let them not. People want to always close their nose because you are in their midst. You should please work on it. We should work on it. We're going to be in people's face. I can't overemphasize this. Like I stated earlier, you need to smell nice. You need to look good. You need to avoid being a distraction, and you need to respect people's boundaries. And that issue of flash, we should work on it. You don't just go and then you are distracting people up and down. Like I've been majorly for when I say conference, I shoot more of church conferences and a few of secular conference and official events. I do that, but I've seen myself shoot more of church conferences over the years. So that's why I'm emphasizing this. You shouldn't be a distraction during the service. A highly powered service, and then the photographer is going. You need to know when to do what you need. You don't need much pictures even in a conference. If you're a proper storyteller, you don't need much pictures. You need a portrait of the speaker. You need a picture of him to the knee, and then maybe 5-5. You need a picture of the speaker to get out the crowd from your left, from your right. Then maybe the speaker from the back. You need a picture of him with the crowd, and then you need some few actions pictures. I tell you, with 30 to 35 pictures, you are done with that conference. Then the remaining things you want to now work on is getting emotions, getting maybe meet and greet sessions, getting people's reactions. Those are the things that you need to now use to add up and balance your storytelling. But you need to just know how not to be a distraction. You need to be absent and present at the same time. You need to be a ghost and still be present at the same time. I tell storytellers always that work with me. I tell them, be absent and present at the same time. Just you are a ghost. Do as if you are not around and then you are around. They are not seeing you and then they are seeing you. So I follow Tolani Ali a lot. There are times where in conferences you see her sitting and you think she's missing all her moments, but no. Like you have what you want to reproduce in your mind. You get. So you just need to know when to stand up and when not to stand up. You need to know when. And you might see some of us looking as if we are distracted. We are not. We are looking for a moment. We have something in mind. We want to reproduce golden moments that cannot easily be replicated. She spoke about one moment she photographed one time where it was the King of England, the President of Nigeria, and the President of African Development Bank, additional Tolani, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and His Royal Majesty King Charles. Two black men will stand side by side, the King of England, and then he's no longer a standing of superior and his subject. It was three key persons standing side by side on the same level at the highest stage in life. No longer when it was a king and then his colonies. No, it's now a king and different leaders in their capacity. So you need to know moments. There are moments that won't repeat itself, when maybe the speaker is hugging somebody, that it might never really repeat itself. There are moments you don't miss. You need to be very, very, very patient as a storytelling photographer. You need to be patient, you need to be calm, and you need to be fast at the same time. Fast in the sense that you are calm, but you're fast when you get your catch. I don't know how to say, but if you watched an eagle before, an eagle will be watching, maybe he's going to catch a fish. Then you'll be watching what he's watching from, where he's watching from, the height. And then when he sees the fish, and then it's just boom, and it goes. That's how it should be. You shouldn't be missing moments because I said you should be calm. You should be calm because you need to study your moment. You need to study your subject. You need to understand how the person moves. You need to understand what next. There are people I've photographed for over in a while now, and over the last 5 years, 6 years, I've photographed them. Permit me to use the example like Minister Theophilus Sunday. I've photographed Minister Theophilus Sunday in the International Eagles Conference for like 5-6 years now, and I've seen how he moves. I've seen how he come across from his end. I know when he's bending. I know how he ministers. So if I'm going to be telling the story of a Minister Theophilus, I'm not going to be giving you pictures when he's calm. Like, that's not his person. He's a very energetic person. And if I'm telling the story, I would want to let you know that this person is an energetic person. So how do I tell his story? I love to take his pictures from back, when he's on his toe, or when he's bending, or I just need to let you know that he's always in emotion. You want to tell the story of a Pastor Dusin Onyekon. You want to tell us how that he's an energetic person too. He's charismatic. You get? You need to learn how to tell the story of people properly. You need to. When it comes to editing again, storytellers need to understand that little means a lot in photography. Little means a lot. You don't overboard something in the sense that you want to just, little means a lot. You don't need, that's why your pre-shoots and during shoot must be gotten correctly, so that you don't come and you're doing plenty things in post-production, and you need to be top notch. Okay. So I feel that's basically the ethics every photographer should know. Majorly, I was speaking to majorly conference photographers and event photographers. You need to be very, very observant, respect boundaries, dress sense, smell nice, avoid being a distractions during the conference, avoid being the reason why people are getting distracted. So my name is Cyrus Throne. I am a creative storyteller and a photographer, Throne Fusion Media Hub in the city of Kaduna. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube platform so the algorithm would show our content more to other persons. See you in our next video, where we'll be talking about more interesting things, stuffs around photography and storytelling. Over and out.